We generally use formulas to calculate values. Let's take an example when we want to calculate simple interest. We generally use the formula of simple interest is equals to P into T into R by 100. So here this is simple interest is our dependent variable, and these all are independent variables. So these values can vary from any of the things. So if you want to calculate principal from this formula, the principal formula is noted into this. Principal is equal to simple interest into 100 by T into R. So here the variables are different. These are the independent variables, and this principal is the dependent variable. If you want to calculate, especially you use the formulas in a general mathematical sense. But if you want to calculate in Excel, you will enter principal in one cell, time in one cell, R rate in one cell, and together multiply together in one cell and divide it with 100 to form a new cell. What if the principal changes? Or what if I want to have a simple interest this much, how much principal I need to take, or whether I have to adjust the time or adjust the rate to get this much of an interest. So this analysis was there in Excel known as what if analysis. Let's dive into what if analysis.
Okay, let's dive into the application of what-if analysis. What-if analysis in Excel is a decision-making tool that helps you explore different scenarios and their outcomes based on varying input values. It is especially useful in situations where you want to understand the impact of change in variables on your model's results. And we have three different tools which are available in what-if analysis. One is the scenario manager, goal seek, data tables. Let's get to see the options where it is located. So here when you're gonna get into the Excel, the default tab which you're gonna open is the home tab. So you just to the data tab, and here what if analysis, and you're gonna see the three tools which are available: scenario manager, goal seek, data table. What is scenario manager? Create different groups of values or scenarios and switch between them. That's what they really can add us. So let us see how it is applicable. I'm reviewing the previously dealt data. Now let's dive into the question. So a company sells a product at $50 per unit. So the selling price is $50. The cost per unit is $30. Fixed costs are $10,000. Calculate the profit for the following scenarios. One is selling 500 units, selling 800 units, selling 1000 units. These are the three scenarios which were given. Now let's get to the Excel. So here, let's enter the unit cost price. What is the cost price for you? Is $30. Unit selling price is $50. Quantity is something which depends on the scenario, so we just leave it in a general thing and let's go it for general thing. And fixed cost is $10,000, and total cost price is equal to fixed cost plus unit cost price into quantity. Let's get to the selling price is equals to quantity into unit selling price. And profit is total selling price minus total cost price. Total cost price. So we have given the values which is accordingly as per the requirement and as per the data. Now we can give all the three scenarios which are going to be present here. Let's go into the data tab, what if analysis, scenario manager, I already created a few scenarios over here, but I'll gonna explain you again how to create a scenario. So you have to add a new scenario. What is scenario name? Selling 500 units. The changing size quantity. Okay, 500. If you want to add another scenario, you can just click on add. Again, selling 800 units. Changing size is C5. If you can write a comment, you can insert a comment regarding some description or explanation. Okay, 800. And there's one more scenario left, so let's add that. Selling 1000 units. Changing size C5. Created. Okay. So all the three scenarios were entered. So let's click on OK. And here we got a visualization of all the three scenarios. And if you want to like tell selling how much selling 500 units, how much profit we gonna just click on show on selecting it. We have given it's a break even. It's a break even. The profit is equal. The selling price equals to the cost price. And selling 800 units, you are getting a profit of $6,000. When selling 1000 units, you are getting a profit. Just a minute, please. I need to check this. Selling 1000 units, we are getting a profit of $10,000. So this is how we are entering different scenarios, and we can find the change. This is how scenario manager works. Now let's come to the next explanation of next part of the next tool, which is okay. Okay. So as you entered all the scenarios and you have seen the change in the values at different kind of a selling price, you can all see it all together as a summary. You're gonna see the summary of it. But the two things: scenario summary and scenario pivot table report. Let's go for scenario summary. This is the results of scenario summary, and click on OK. So when you're gonna click on that, you're gonna see that selling $500, 500 units is going to give a profit of 0. It's a break even. Selling 800 units gives us a profit of 6,000. Selling 10,000 units gives a profit of 10,000. This is how you gotta make your decision on which is going to be the right amount of production to consider. Now let's get to the next feature of what if analysis: goal seek. Goal seek is to find the right input for the value you want. So that's what right input for the value you want. Let's get to the goal seek example. You take a loan of $1,000 at an annual interest rate of 6% for 10 years. So here we gotta have principal amount is $100,000. Interest is annually, and 6% rate interest rate is 6%, and time is 10 years. Calculate the monthly payment that determine the loan amount you can afford if you want to limit, and you have to determine the loan amount. The principal has to be changed. You can afford if you want to limit the monthly payment to $800. Now let's get to the Excel sheet. So this is what here. Just gotta enter the formula over here. This is a formula which is being represented. Let me copy this. Okay. Delete the enter thing. Okay. The principal is $100,000. The element O represented in the format of currency. $100,000. The annual interest rate is 6%. The number of years is 10 years. And the loan payment, the formula for the loan payment is PMT 6% rate of interest by 12, which is paid monthly. Every month we have to pay EMI by 12th, and number of months 120, and interest rate. All these things where interest rate was given. All these things were given. Let's generate. So if we gotta get a, if you from this actually we got a principal. If we want to get a principal amount, a loan of amount of $100,000 at 6% rate for and you want a duration of 10 years, then your monthly installment is going to be 1,110.21, and this is represented in dollars. So, but what if you only want to pay the monthly installment only $800? How you can vary the principal by using it? So let's get into the data tab. What if analysis? Goal seek. Set cell. We gotta set cell. Select this cell to the value 800 by changing cell the principal amount. Okay. So you gotta get here when you want to pay a monthly installment of $800. Then you gotta have you can take eligible to take, or you can take a principal of $72,058. So that's how GoalSeek works. And there's another one important tool which is known as the data table. Let's go over it. What is the data table? You get in the data table you can see the results of multiple inputs at the same time. That's what it is. So let's get to the data table. So data tables enables you to analyze how changes in one or two variables affect your results. So you can have two types of data tables. What is one variable data type and another is two variable data table. One variable data table examines how changing one input affects the output. So let's consider a question here. This is a problem here we are going to solve. A company wants to evaluate the impact of spending on marketing. For every $1,000 spent, the expected sales revenue changes. Using a one variable data table to calculate the revenue for marketing spends ranging from $10,000 to $50,000, assume revenue is equal to 5 times of the marketing spend. This is what the question is. So let's get to the Excel data table. So I already have done it previously, checked it, it's working. So I'm just removing it. Okay, 1 minute. I'm just clearing off. So here we gotta have a single variable marketing spend as revenue. Marketing spend is something which has to be depend upon different data value, and revenue is something is known as 5 times of the marketing spends. It's like it depends on the marketing spend 5 times of the marketing spend. So let's get to the data tab. Let's get to remove this kind of a thing. Let's get to the data tab. We have understand with the question asked this, you have to go measure it from for every $10,000 to $50,000. 10,000 to 50,000 with a variation of $1,000. So here, and we have to get the output revenues, which is the one. So that this is kind of a marketing spend which we are having here, different value with changing values and all, and we are having the revenue on this side. So let's gonna make this equal to this out. This formula is being applied. So when you gonna select the formula, the kind of data values which are changing altogether, and you're going to select it. One minute, please. Oh my god, it's difficult for me to select it. I selected it. Oh my god, we have an issue. That make few minutes. I can just do it. Okay. We have selected the data and we are getting into the what if analysis data table, and row input cell and column input cells are the two values which is asking. Here we are having in the column we are having different values, right, which is changing variation. The column input cell is something which is not as a marketing span, so that's gonna enter it as a marketing span and click it on OK. And when you does that, by using this formula which is over here, 5 times of the marketing spend, it calculates the respective revenue which we are going to get for each marketing spend. For $10,000 you gotta $50,000. For 11,000 you're gonna have $55,000. For 12,000, 60,000. It's some kind of a thing like that we getting. But what if when this is, we have only one change in one variable? What if the change is in two variables? So let's get to the next example. Let's get to the question. It's a two variables. Examines the effect of changing two inputs simultaneously. A company produces a product with the following: fixed cost $20,000, variable cost per unit $25, selling price per unit $50. So let's enter the values over here, and we're gonna 2,000. It's a dollars. Let's enter in the format of dollars. Variable cost $25. Selling price $50. Quantity is something which has to be evaluated, changes with the variable. Total cost is equals to variable cost. Here when you gonna get formulas, precedence. Then you got a variable cost into quantity as there is, and plus fixed cost. We are having that. So all this together gives the total cost, and total revenue is equals to selling price into quantity, and profit is equals to total cost, total revenue minus total cost. That's how we are getting it as a profit. Okay, now the question asks this: find the profit for different combinations of units sold, $1,000 to $5,000, units sold $1,000 to $5,000, and selling prices $40 to $55. 40 to 55, right? Let me check it. $40 to $55. We entered all this kind of as a result. Here we are getting the profit formula. Let me do it again once. We are getting the profit formula over here, which is the required quantity for us. And from 1,000 to 5,000 units of variation. And the amount which is varying is $40 to $55. 40, 45, 50, 55. So on entering, we have the thing is a two variables which are varying. One is the cost selling price, and one is the number of units. So we have to know how many, which is the best point to sell the products with what price. So let's select this entire cells. And now if you're gonna go for data tab, what if analysis, data table, you gonna tell as the row input cell. Here this is the row input cell, this is the row. The input cell is the selling price. So let's select the selling price. And the column input cell, which is the number of units, quantity over here, quantity. And on selecting these two, we are get to populate all of these values, what will be the profit for each scenario. So when you have 1,000, if you want to sell 1,000 units at a price of $40, you will get a loss of 5,000 rupees, $5,000. When you gonna have 1,000 units with the 1,000 units with the price of $45, you are going to have achieve a break even. When you gonna have 1,000 units with the price of selling price of $50, you're gonna have a 5,000. Like this, it all represents upon different scenarios and combination of scenarios and from the change in variables.
And that is what if analysis. We have discussed about the three tools which are there in the what if analysis: scenario manager, goal seek, and data table. And I will attach the documents or link to the documents in the next section so that you can refer it and do some practices on it. Thank you.